overseas early Sunday morning, 9:30 a.m. Eastern. And I'm going to give you a free play between Broncos Jets with analysis for Sunday morning right here, right now. Hi, this is Steve Merrill, WagerTalk.com, right back here on Wager Talk TV. And look, we don't export our finest products to England. We keep them here in America and U.S. Get that flag out. I need to start getting an English flag. I'm doing so many of these videos, but we're giving them a couple big-name teams at least. They got that going for them, Broncos, Jets. And yes, the Broncos just beat the defending Super Bowl champs. They're off to a 3-2 start, back-to-back wins. But this looks like a tough spot for Denver. The Monday night home win against the Bengals to get back to 500. Then they traveled to beat the Super Bowl champs this past Sunday. Stayed on the East Coast, flew over. I would have loved it even more if they had to go back home, which would have made no sense. But the same trip for the Jets, they were at home, flying out of New York, which is where you basically always fly out to go over to London. So I think the travel is kind of equal, a little bit worse for the Broncos since they're on the road back-to-back weeks. And yes, the Jets are struggling 0-5 straight up. But if you start playing ugly teams in October, winless teams in October, since I started decades ago, have been a profitable play. Been doing this for over 29 years, started in August of 96. And you always have to hold your nose when you play these ugly dogs. But I think there's a few reasons why we can maybe take a look at the Jets this week on Sunday morning in England. First of all, you do get a little bit of a randomness factor to these England games because both teams are in uncharted territory, no pun intended. But it's also a better scheduling spot, as I just laid out, for the Jets. So we're fading the Broncos a little bit here based on the upset win against the Eagles. Also like the fact the Jets have not forced a turnover yet this season. Look, when you're 0-5, a lot of things are going wrong. No question about it. You're usually not that good, and the Jets aren't that good. But they have not forced a turnover in 5 games. That is not going to continue to happen. Turnovers are pretty random in the NFL. Fumbles are over 90% random. I've done research on that. Interceptions, not as so much. I mean, bad pass defenses are going to have less. Bad quarterbacks are going to throw more. I get that. Not sure if Fields is any worse than Bo Nix, though, to be honest with you. And if you look at the QB ratings, I realize some of this have come in garbage times. Justin Fields in his 4 games this season has a quarterback rating of 100 or higher in 3 of those 4 games. Bo Nix, meanwhile, has a quarterback rating of 98 or less in 4 of his 5 games. So Fields has actually had a better QB rating the majority of his games compared to Bo Nix. I don't think Nix is anything special. Now, the Broncos have been a really good team as a favorite. I talked about this when I gave you a free play in Denver couple weeks ago in that Monday night video. I believe it's now 10-1 straight up, if I'm not mistaken, since last year as a favorite. And that only non-cover, non-win was as a 1-point road favorite against Indianapolis in week 2. Otherwise, it's 10-0 when they're laying a field goal or more. But this line is inflated. There's no question about it. We're now getting more than a touchdown, and a lot of it has to do with the fact the Broncos beat the Eagles last week. I saw a look-ahead line. In fact, we'll pull it up. DraftKings, by the way, does a good job with look-ahead lines, as does the Westgate. DraftKings look-ahead line last week was 6.5. The Superbook, the Westgate in Nevada, 6.5 as well. Now this line is 7.5. 7.5. I even see an 8 out there right now, Bookmaker, which is one of the sharper books. Some of that is teaser liability because look, teasers are, hey, look, the Broncos are going to be a popular teaser play. I'd be careful with that. I would not tease the Broncos down this week to that straight-up win situation. I like the Jets in this game at plus 7.5 or more, and I would be careful with the Broncos in survivor contests. I'd be careful with them in teasers as well, just due to the fact I think this is a flat spot. I think the Jets are maybe a little underrated now. We're getting line value. The majority of this play for me is getting more than 7, that key number. There's about a 5% chance, by the way, the Broncos win by exactly 7 points. So at 7.5 or more, we are getting about 5% more line value than just a week ago when the line was going to be 6.5. But when I like an underdog in the NFL, I always feel they have a chance to win outright. Last week, best bets for my clients last Sunday, Patriots over the Bills, Titans over the Cardinals. They both won straight up. So whenever I'm leaning towards a dog, be careful with survivor picks, teaser picks, etc. I do lean towards the Jets plus 7.5 or more on Sunday morning in London at 9:30. And by the way, one other thing I'll point out, the Jets are not an explosive offensive team. We get that. That's why they're 0-5. They have scored 22 points or less in 3 of their last 4 games. The Broncos, though, are not an explosive team either. In fact, they have scored 21 or less in 3 of their 5 games this season. So when you have a team that keeps the game close and doesn't blow teams out, that gives the underdog a better chance as well to stay within more than a touchdown. Another reason why I like the Jets on Sunday morning. Hey, let me know your thoughts on this game. Side, total, player props. How are you attacking this Sunday morning London game? Drop them in the comments below. I do truly read the comments and I reply back. Include some analysis if you have time. Let's learn and earn and win together here on Wager Talk TV. And also feel free to drop other NFL plays you like for this Sunday. This is the early morning game, so lots of opportunity to cash in on Sunday afternoon and evening as well. Also, thumbs up like goes a long way to keeping these videos free and plentiful. The more thumbs up likes the videos get, the more videos I do. It's that simple. People are watching them. If I'm getting positive comments, if I'm getting thumbs up likes, I'm going to do more free play videos for you. It's worth my time. I try to give you all the Thursday night games, Sunday night, Monday night games, all the spotlight games in college football. Also, my top 25 college video, my NFL Fade the Public video. Of course, those are ready every weekend as well. When you click subscribe, click that bell for an instant alert, and you'll never miss out when a free play video is posted here on WagerTalk TV. By the way, if you like my personal best bets, check out my page, SteveMerrill, WagerTalk.com. We entered this week on a 75% winning run. Baseball playoffs are here. Basketball starts in a couple weeks. Football, though, in full throttle. And I want to focus on a very special football offer this week. Normally, 30 days of NFL is $179. 30 days of college is $179. But as you see on your screen, you can get a 30-day combo right now for just $179. Here's how it works. You go to my page, Steve Merrill, WagerTalk.com. On the right-hand side, you'll see all the different subscriptions you can choose from. Football drop-down, you'll see a combo package for $249. Nope. When you use promo code FB30, you get it for just $179. So choose the 30-day college and pro football combo, and at checkout, use promo code FB30 like you see on your screen, and you'll get both college and pro football for $179. That's like buying one, getting the other one for free. You don't have to decide if you want college or pro. You're getting them both for $179 with promo code FB30 this weekend. Steve Merrill, WagerTalk.com. And while you're there, check out the bonus free plays. I post free plays each and every day throughout the week. Bonus free plays. The last cuts from my best bet card quite often go up as bonus free plays on my page, Steve Merrill, WagerTalk.com. And you can get there quicker with shortcut wt.buzz/SM. On the way out, don't forget to follow me on social media on X and Instagram at Steve Merrill, 2 R's, 1 L, Merril. You'll see it on your screen at Steve Merrill on X and Instagram. And stay tuned here to Wager Talk TV because you know there's more free play videos, including later this week, the Sunday and Monday night free play videos coming up next.
The Colts are 7.5-point favorites against the Arizona Cardinals, and the Rams are 7.5-point favorites over the Baltimore Ravens on the road. We're going to break down both games. I'm going to tell you my opinion on the side in both of those. We will start with the Rams and the Ravens, and I will tell you why I'm picking the Rams in Survivor this week and why I'm picking them over 7.5, their team total over. I think this Ravens team without Lamar and without this defense is kind of given up for these 2 weeks. So you saw them get just blitzed last week against the Texans, and you get the bye next week. So if you're the Ravens and you know you've got Lamar Jackson hurt, you know you've got all these injuries on defense, just take the loss, get to the bye, and when you come back out of the bye, you have a very, very manageable schedule. Bears, Dolphins, Vikings, Browns, Jets, Packers, Steelers, Patriots. You get the Steelers twice, actually, and the Bengals twice. A lot of winnable games in there. You lose this game, you're 1-5. But those divisional games against the Steelers, you can make up a lot of ground really, really fast. You got very winnable games against the Bengals, the Jets, the Browns, the Dolphins. There's some bad teams in there. I'm of the opinion we saw last week what Harbaugh was going to do, and that was run a very vanilla offense, not put his main players in harm's way. Derrick Henry only had 33 yards rushing, and this is the thing. This Ravens team, this is just not really a team that's made to come from behind, especially when Lamar is not in the lineup. Derrick Henry is their main running back, and when they're down multiple scores, he's kind of rendered, I don't want to say useless, but yeah, kind of useless. 15 carries for 33 yards. They didn't even try to get Justice Hill going. He can be explosive. They just ran a very vanilla offense. Cooper Rush, 14 of 20 for 179 yards and 3 interceptions. It's hard to believe that that's going to get better. Meanwhile, you've got the Rams. The Rams are coming off such a disappointing loss on Thursday night. They absolutely blew it. If you had them in Survivor, you're well aware of it. They have extra time to mull over that loss and extra time to prepare for this, and what a great get-right spot. Matthew Stafford has been very, very good. This is a Rams team that's second in passing yards per game, and this is a Ravens defense that gets shredded on the ground and through the air. Why? Because their entire defense is hurt, and they're starting back up. So I really like this this Rams team. I love the Texans last week. I had them in Survivor. I had them against the points, and it was really never in doubt. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I'm going to fade this Ravens team until they get all their players back. One thing that we do have up at Wager Talk, very excited about, our NFL Week 6 props pack all props that we have, starting with Thursday Night Football, all the way through Sunday, all the way through Monday Night Football. Every prop will be included. 5-2 last week, so really, really good winning percentage. My goal this year is to hit 58, 59%, and we're about 55% right now. So just need another good week, and we'll be right up there on that 58, 59%. How many do we have? Last week we had 7. I would expect somewhere in the same neighborhood come Sunday. So one pack, you get every single play that we have all the way through Sunday and through Monday. We also have our 5% UFC best bet. That is up, coming off a big win last Saturday on our 5% play. Coming off a big win, 4% play on Contender Series. Looking to make it 3 big plays in a row on this Saturday for UFC Rio. It starts 4 p.m. Eastern Time. I absolutely love the 5% best bet. We're hitting just over 60% on those this year, so that's a very good win percentage on those plays. Jump on board. Let's cash in the NFL. Let's cash in the UFC with the 5% best bet in the NFL props pack. Big expectations for myself and for my team. I'll just say that. And these are plays that we bet with our own money. So that's over at wt.buzz/al, wagertalk.com. A little bit more difficult game to handicap here. We got the Colts as 7.5 home favorites. So this Arizona Cardinals team, they've played the Saints, the Panthers. Both of those were 1-score wins. Then they lose at home to the 49ers, or lost at 49ers, home to Seahawks, and they completely blow the game against the Titans. So what's interesting is, okay, they lose, but they're not losing by big margin. But how good are the Titans? How good are the Seahawks? I think the Seahawks are pretty good. How good are the 49ers? I think the 49ers are okay. On the stats say that Arizona has the 8th best rush defense, but the 5th worst pass defense. But again, they're playing teams like the Titans. They've played the Saints. They've played the Panthers. So Colts are number 2 in yards per play. And alarming, Arizona is 27th in yards per play. This is a big advantage that the Colts have on offense. Over the course of the game, they're probably going to out-rush and out-pass this Arizona team. Arizona's 3rd worst pass offense, or 12th best rush offense. The rushing game was really good last week, but again, that was against the Titans. How much can you take away from that? Colts on the other side probably should be 5-0 if not for Mitchell dropping the ball, running through the end zone against the Rams. And this Colts team, they beat the Dolphins by a big margin. They beat the Titans by a big margin. They beat the Raiders by a big margin. So this is a team that is not afraid to really step on the throat of the opponents if they're bad. So it really comes down to how bad or good do we think Arizona is. I'm of the opinion that this Arizona team is just clunky enough to not win, but they're good enough and competent enough to stay in it. Kyler's one of these guys that can be very frustrating when it just comes to wins and losses, but you look at all the games this year and they're close. And this half makes it really, really tough. I'm going to side with the Cardinals at the 7.5. If it was 6.5, I would say it's a pass. But the 7.5, you're asking the Colts to, again, win by a big margin here. But I think this Arizona team is much better than some of the teams that the Colts have beaten. I do like this Colts team. I'm from Indianapolis. It's absolutely been a blast watching them. But one thing that's a little bit concerning, and Daniel Jones, he's not been running. He doesn't have to because Jonathan Taylor has been doing all the running for us, but I would like to see Daniel Jones use his legs a little bit more. I think it keeps the defense on their toes a little bit, but he has not been doing that in the last few games. Maybe he gets back to that, but I think the Colts win. I think they win by a smaller margin, and I think they're going to be regretting that Rams loss for the rest of the season. But for this Cardinals team, I look for him to lose in close fashion. That's kind of what they've been doing this season. I'm going to take the Colts to win, but the Cardinals to cover. If you guys could do me a favor, hit the like button. Really appreciate you guys watching. Leave me a comment. Tell me what you like in the Ravens and the Rams game, and then tell me what you like in the Cardinals and the Colts. Always love reading your guys' opinions, reading your comments. Let me know if you agree or disagree. If you got a good prop, let me know in the comment section below. But please hit the like button, and appreciate you guys watching. Cash with me on the 5% UFC best bet, and then let's cash on Sunday and Monday in NFL Props Week 6 pack. Thanks very much for watching. Good luck in your bets. Take care.
I've got 2 NFL free plays for Sunday afternoon, one early, one late, including your biggest national TV game of the week, 49ers Buccaneers, and also an under-the-radar way to play the Cowboy-Panthers game earlier on Sunday afternoon. 2 free plays, 2 games with analysis right here, right now. Hi, this is Steve Merrill, WagerTalk.com, right back here on WagerTalk TV, and we're going to get to that huge game on Sunday afternoon between the 49ers and Buccaneers. Free play in that game in just a moment. But I want to touch on one of the early kickoff games at 1 o'clock Eastern. Cowboys Panthers. Not many people talking about this game, and for good reason. The Panthers are a miserable team. Cowboys are looking okay this season, but I've got a sneaky way to play this game and make some money on Sunday afternoon. Now, the Dallas defense has been very suspect this year. However, they do match up well against these bad offensive teams. We saw that last week. Cowboys were one of the most public plays of the week, and the public got it right against the New York Jets because when the Jets got behind, they couldn't catch up. Same situation here. I think the situational setup is good for the Panthers, but I get concerned because if Carolina does get down in this game, they don't throw the ball well. They're going to have a tough time catching up. So what do? Let's take the full game out of the equation and let's shorten it as much as possible. And let's look at the first quarter line. Carolina's plus a half point in the first quarter, minus some juice, but plus a half point. And that's the way I like to play this game for a couple reasons. First of all, Carolina runs the ball decently, and Dallas does have a very suspect run defense. So I think Carolina can have some success on the ground, keep the game close early, and it takes that questionable come-from-behind ability out. Bryce Young having a mediocre season once again. In fact, on the season, the Carolina Panthers are averaging offensively just 5.2 yards per pass against teams that allow 6.6. The Cowboys are giving up almost 8 yards per pass. They're one of the worst pass defenses in the NFL. Problem is, I just don't know if Carolina can take advantage, but I do think Carolina can take advantage of a subpar Cowboy rush defense and keep it close early. And I want to point out that this strategy has actually worked so far this season. If you look at Carolina's 5 games, first quarter against the Jaguars, 3-3. First quarter against the Cardinals, they did lose 3-10, but keep in mind, they really were closer in that game than the score indicated. Came back to cover overall. Third game against the Falcons, they won the first quarter 7-0. Fourth game against the Patriots, they got blown up almost 30, but it was 7-6 after the first quarter. And then last week against the Dolphins, they did win. They were only trailing 3-0. So they've been very close, within a field goal in 4 of their 5 games in the first quarter. But here's what jumps out to me. Despite the fact the Cowboys are having a decent season so far this year, and they enter this game with a 2-2-1 record, Dallas has not won the first quarter in any game this season. In fact, the Cowboys have been outscored 37-13 in the first quarter of their 5 games so far. They were even with Philadelphia 7-7. They trailed the Giants 6-0. Trailed the Bears 14-3 in the first quarter. Trailed the Packers 7-0. And they were tied with the Jets last week. I talked about how this game is very similar to that one where the Jets couldn't catch up when they got behind, but that was 3-3. You would have cashed the plus half a point in the first quarter, and I think this game is very similar. Dallas, once again, has not outscored any of their 5 opponents in the first quarter this year. They've been outscored 37-13. Meanwhile, the Panthers, they've only been outscored 23-19 in the first quarter. Second quarter, Carolina's been outscored 62-13. So I'm not looking at the first half here. I'm looking at the first quarter only. Carolina Panthers plus a half a point, minus 130, minus 140 if you're going to play this game at 1 Eastern. A little bit of a sneaky under-the-radar attack here on that game. All right, the big spotlight game for Sunday on the daytime card at least. And by the way, I do have a free play video for the big Sunday night game, Lions-Chiefs. Also a doubleheader Monday night. I've got both your Monday night games as well. If you're liking these free play videos, all I ask is a thumbs up like. And if you have a little extra time, a positive comment below as well, because I do truly read the comments and I reply back. Biggest game on the board, though, is at 4:25 Eastern, and we've got San Francisco at Tampa Bay. This is a time change. It was supposed to be an early kickoff at 1 Eastern. They moved it to the later card, 4:25 Eastern. There's only 3 4 o'clock Eastern games. Tennessee, Vegas, and Cincinnati, Green Bay is obviously the one they probably had circled as the spotlight game. Not so now that Joe Flacco, what? Is it Cleveland or is it Cincinnati? Joe Flacco starting for the Bengals. Ugly 2 games, so basically everyone, 90% of the nation, is getting this game on CBS. So I wanted to break it down for you. And Tampa getting a little bit of public love. And by the way, Dallas is getting public love also in the Carolina game. Not a surprise there. We don't just blindly fade the public. But one thing I wanted to point out also is that both of these games, the look-ahead line this summer was 1.5, Dallas and Tampa. Now it's 3. So the lines are both a little bit higher than expected. Of course, one of the reasons for San Francisco is they don't have their starting quarterback, Brock Purdy. His toe is not looking pretty. He's listed as doubtful. Mac Jones expected to be the starter again this Sunday, and I don't have a problem with that. Mac Jones has played pretty well this season. 6 touchdowns, only 1 interception, 99.1 QB rating. Baker Mayfield having a fantastic season as well. 10 touchdowns, 1 pick, 104 QB rating. But if you dive deeper into the matchup stats here and opponents played, I think San Francisco can hang in this game. They've been a pass-based offense. Even with the backup quarterback in there, they're still a pass-based offense. They have struggled to run the ball this year. Just 85 rushing yards a game and only about 3 yards per carry. And Tampa Bay's strength this season has been defensively against the run, giving up just 92 yards a game. But they've been very mediocre against the pass, giving up 6.8 against teams that average 6.9. 49ers are averaging 7.2 against a tougher schedule of defenses than Tampa Bay. 49ers pass defense is also much better, 6.1 versus 6.8 for Tampa. So we get two teams that throw the ball well, but I think San Francisco, even with Mac Jones, will have more success. Whenever I can get the better passing attack and the better pass defense as a field goal dog or more, it catches my eye. At +3 or more, I like San Francisco in this game. And the public's leaning Tampa in this one, so I would wait. I don't think you'll find a 3.5. When I'm looking at DraftKings, it's 3.5 minus 18. So you might get a 3.5. There's about an 8 to 9% chance Tampa wins this game by exactly a field goal. So wait, maybe get a +3.5 by kickoff, but at +3 or more, I think the 49ers are the play in this late afternoon national TV game on Sunday. Hey, there you go. Two games for you, one early, one late. A sneaky way to play that Cowboy-Panther game. And by the way, let me know your thoughts on that first quarter attack. Do you think it makes sense? And also let me know your thoughts on the 49er-Bucks games and any other games you like this Sunday. Let's learn and earn and win together here on Wager Talk TV. Don't forget my NFL Fade the Public video is up as well with the Sunday night and both Monday night games for free. Make sure you click subscribe and click that bell so you never miss out when these free play videos are posted each day here on the channel. If you'd like my personal best bets, check out my page, Steve Merrill, WagerTalk.com, and also check out the bonus free play for Sunday. I've got an NFL free play up there right now for you with analysis. I put a daily free play up each and every day. It's always a last cut from my best bet card. Sometimes it's a best bet, occasionally, but it's usually the last cut from my client card. It goes up free for everybody. Check out the free play, and then, of course, get my strong best bets for this Sunday in the NFL. And when you do so, there's some special offers you might want to consider. One day is $39. The Weekend Warrior is $49 for all football through Monday night. Or how about a 7-day all-sports sampler right now for just $77? That includes baseball as well. And, of course, in just over a week and a half, we have the NBA starting, college hoops right after that. So if you want a longer-term package, you're going to get all 5 major sports that I cover: college and pro football, college and pro basketball, and baseball. And right now, if you buy 3 months, you get the 4th month for free, instant $300 savings. Or the best deal, and especially if you're ready to take a serious, consistent investment approach, get the rest of 2025 for free, the next 2.5 months for free when you sign up in advance for 2026. All sports, all access, whether it's 1 week or 3 months, get the 4th free, or 1 year, get the rest of this year free. Check it out right now on my page, Steve Merrill, WagerTalk.com, and get that daily free play as well, that bonus free play, and get there quicker with shortcut WT.buzz/SM. On the way out, don't forget to follow me on social media on X and Instagram at Steve Merrill, 2 R's, 1 L, MERRIL, at Steve Merrill on X and Instagram. And once again, if you're liking these free play videos, thumbs up like is all I ask. Takes 2 seconds. Click it. You did it. I appreciate it. And stay tuned here to Wager Talk TV because you know there's more free play videos coming up next.
If you were drawing up a start of the season to your Steelers, could you have designed this much better? Bengals lose Burrow. Obviously, you're not rooting for injuries, but, you know, the Ravens are free-falling. Bengals don't. But the Browns are the Browns. So it's a 5.5 point game. This is a huge, huge weekend. Your team wins and Baltimore and Cincy loses. You guys have a stranglehold on that division. We got a low total here at 38. So what's your breakdown on your Pittsburgh Steelers versus Cleveland Browns?
Well, let me just sum up the AFC North for you in one statement. The Pittsburgh Steelers had a bye week last week. We gained a half a game on the entire division. Okay?
So bad.
All right. Bad. And if that's not enough, the Cincinnati Bengals were driving down the highway and they were, I don't know why they were going through Cleveland, but they saw Joe Flacco out on the curb. You know how, like, sometimes when it's big trash day, people put chairs and stuff out, free, or the garbage guy comes and takes it. Well, they said, "Oh, look, there's a Joe Flacco. We need one of those." And
we can put a frame on him and hang him on the wall.
And they take it. And here's the thing. There's the unwritten rule. If you trade a player, you never trade him within your own division. You don't want to help out a teammate, or a fellow, rival. Well, the Browns thought so little of Joe Flacco that they traded him to a rival. And yet the Bengals, I don't know what they're thinking. They thought enough of Joe Flacco to think they won that trade. God bless America that we live in. This is just great. But as far as this game goes, I'm on Cleveland. And I will put the first thing out there. As far as the scheduling dynamics go for this game, it's a bad spot for Cleveland when you look at rest, and a lot of handicappers love to, do that, which team has got the rest advantage and so forth. And the Steelers have a huge one here. They're coming off a bye week. Generally, these bye weeks, what I say about them is if you go into the bye week doing well, it's a momentum stopper. If you go in and things aren't working well, that, you're going to fix what's wrong. The Steelers went in with 2 wins, and they finally feel good about themselves. And then again, with what happened last week with the rest of the division. So I think it is a momentum stopper for the Steelers. Cleveland, unfortunately, has to travel back from London. I don't know why they didn't get their bye week. Generally, the NFL gives the team that plays overseas the bye week, but they got to come back, not only play, but they got to play a division rival. Here's the bottom line. The Steelers are not as good as a first-place record might indicate. They've been very fortunate in the games. I've been involved in 3 Steeler games. Twice I went against them. Once I went with them, and we're 3-0. I'm going to keep that streak going and make it 4-0. I'm going against them here. I'm taking the Browns plus the points. I always tell you, if you can give me the better defense getting points, and especially in a division matchup, I'm going to go that route. And the Steelers have always been known for their defense. Their defense is not good this year. That has been the big Achilles heel in the offensive line. Aaron Rodgers, he's not setting the world on fire. And some of the big pass plays that he's had, he's put the ball up there. His receivers just gone up and got it for him, bailed him out. Myles Garrett is going to introduce Aaron Rodgers to the AFC North. And generally, when he does introduce somebody, it's that guy's on his back looking up at him and say, "Hi, I'm Myles Garrett." And that's what's going to happen this week. Give me the points with Cleveland. And in a perfect world, if you want to really make me happy, make it the Steelers 21-20. I could live with that, but I'm actually calling for Cleveland outright 20-17.
Tell her what you have up for clients and everyone at WagerTalk.
Well, this is one of those weekends. I've got several plays I like a lot, and we're putting the card together. Will we have a 5%? Probably. Definitely have a couple 4% to go with that. Both Saturday and Sunday strong cards. I have an NFL play I like a ton on Sunday. So best way to go if you just want the weekend of football, go with the Weekend Warrior. You'll get Saturday and Sunday. You'll get everything we have in football. If I have a Monday night play, and there's 2 games this week, so very good possibility of that. We did have a Monday night play last week. We were on Jacksonville, and I loved that ending. You'll get that play free. But if you want everything, we've got the 7-day package going. You can pick up 7 days for $77. And this is the best time to be on an all access. Every sport is running right now but one. And come Tuesday, the one that's not running, I think Tuesday they start, the NBA gets started next week as well. So if you want all the sports, all the plays, you don't want to miss any of the action, grab a 7-day all access for just $77.
Two games, 2 free plays. I'll be breaking down the total for both the Patriots versus Saints game and the Titans versus Raiders game. I'm Ron Kabang from WagerTalk.com and TheMoneyBaller.com. As far as the NFL goes, just 5-0 in NFL Week 5 last week. Hoping to have another dominant Week 6. If you want to rock with me on a short-term or long-term in the NFL, Premier League, college football, or the NBA, obviously coming up here, there are a bunch of solid deals going on right now. Just head over to wt.buzz/RC. You see the link scrolling down on the bottom down there throughout this whole video. Now let's get to this game. Patriots versus Saints. Patriots and Saints meet Sunday in the Superdome, with New England coming off a 23-20 upset win over Buffalo. Patriots did a great job managing both sides of the ball that game. Saints just 1-4 on the season, mainly due to their poor offense. They really struggle in the red zone. Defensively, the Saints actually do a great job of limiting passing yards per game, just over 204 per game. And the Patriots lean more pass heavy than run. The Saints also have a better third down defense as well. On the advanced data side, it supports a slower, more possession-based game. The Saints are one of the faster teams by seconds per play, but their red zone touchdown rate is towards the bottom of the league. So even if the Saints are able to march down the field or push pace, they may end up with a bunch of field goals rather than touchdowns. The likely scenario is the Saints just offensively, they're just so inefficient. It will probably lead to long stall drives, maybe punts. Just not too many touchdowns that I could see from the Saints side here. On the Patriots side, their defense is really comfortable with limiting explosive plays. And you see the Saints here, they might be without Alvin Kamara, they might be without Juwan Johnson. Even if they do play, they'll likely be under 100%. On the opposite side, the Patriots offense, their identity has leaned more towards control, time control and situational football, not explosiveness, not volatility. With that said, May is getting sacked 3.4 times per game, and the Saints' solid pass defense and average third down defense could limit a lot of the explosives that they may try against this Saints team. We could see a lot of punts from them as well. The defensive matchup favors the under as well. Defensive front of the New England Patriots. I feel like they should be able to get to Rattler a couple times, create third and long, third and medium situations, and with that limited red zone, offense, the Saints, like I said, probably going to be a lot of short drives, maybe a lot of field goals, a lot of punts, not a lot of touchdowns on the Saints side. Even if Rattler has been doing a better job of not getting sacked and not turning the ball over, they just can't convert just because they're not taking a lot of chances downfield. And even when they get to the red zone, like I said, just field goals is what we're seeing for the most part. Even if looking towards the Saints defense, they actually could get a boost because I was just looking at the injury report right before doing this video. Chase Young actually practiced again here, and it looks like he's moved towards questionable rather than doubtful. And in a post-practice interview, he did say that he's hopeful to play this weekend. So that's going to be a big boost for this Saints defense as well to get to the Patriots through the Patriots interior line and get to May. Because like I said earlier, May has been getting sacked a ton, which I think 3.4 is towards the bottom of the league, bottom 5 in the league in protection. So things to me are clearly pointing to the under New Orleans Saints and ranking near the bottom of the league in red zone efficiency. Patriots defense allowing just over 20 points per game. Saints averaging just over 18 points per game. Saints offense is not explosive. Like I said, long drives leading to field goals. And the Saints defense should be a lot better, especially if Chase Young gets a chance to play here. So to me, under 46 makes sense. Even allows room for some mistakes on both sides of the field. The only issue, I didn't take this one personally, but the only reason why was just because I'm not 100% sure Rattler can do another mistake-free game against this Patriots defense. So if he does end up giving more than one short field to the Patriots, this could sneak over. So I do lean heavily towards the under, but that did not make my premium card. Before I get into the next game, I do want to remind you guys to hit that like and subscribe button to the channel. Make sure you click the notification button as well, so you don't miss another breakdown from any of the other WagerTalk handicappers. Also head over to wt.buzz/RC. A whole bunch of promos going on right now. We got the Weekend Warrior Football Pass, all bets, including from Saturday to Monday for NFL and college football, just $49. Short-term packages, 7 days of picks for $77, just $11 a day. Midterm packages, 90 days plus 30 additional days for free. And you got the long-term package by 2026, get the rest of 2025 free. You're saving over $1,000 in added value for that package. Head over to wt.buzz/RC. And that's not just for me, that's for everybody over at WagerTalk. All right, let's get to this Titans versus Raiders game. They meet they're going to be in Vegas for this one. Two struggling offenses. Titans coming off a 22-21 win over Arizona. That one I actually had the Titans plus the points there. They ended up winning outright. The Raiders, they're coming off a beatdown, 40-6 blowout loss to the Colts. Both teams sitting at 1-4. Titans continue to lean on Ward as a quarterback, and you could see in their game plan it just continue to be conservative, try not to make mistakes, and try to eat up clock and just keep close, stay close to have a chance to win towards the end of the game. On the opposite side, you got Geno just running for his life every game. He does have the ability to get into scoring position, but then he does that thing where he just takes a terrible sack, gets them out of scoring position, or throws an interception. So to me, offensively, both teams are really struggling right now, averaging a combined 31 points per game between the two teams. Both offenses sit in the bottom half of the league in EPA per play, both towards the bottom of the league in red zone touchdown rate as well. So that combination of just like limited explosiveness on the Titans side and poor drive finishing on the Raiders side definitely helps the under here. Titan Brock Bowers is questionable with knee problems. He has not practiced this week, and without him, I think those seam routes and that yards after catch potential decline for the Raiders. On the other side, you got Jeffrey Simmons. He's nearing full strength, and that's going to give another beast in the D line for this Tennessee interior defense, and that's going to increase the likelihood of Geno getting sacked or getting put in positions to throw interceptions. So another injury, Tennessee kicker situation. Joey Sly, he is injured. He hasn't practiced all week. Even last week, he missed 2 field goals. So their kicker situation does not help that offense. The Raiders' offensive line, they remain inconsistent. And I mentioned, if Simmons is healthy, nearing 100%, coming back from his injury, Tennessee should be able to get to Geno multiple times this week. I think there's about they're 1-4, right? I think 4 out of the 5 games Geno has been sacked 4 times or more. So Tennessee should be able to get to him. And after giving up 40 to the Colts last week, I can see the Raiders focusing on the defensive side of the ball as well. So that's going to limit the Tennessee offense. I think for me, both teams they have similar problems, right? They have this ability to move from 20 to 20, but they fail to convert to touchdowns. And sometimes they put themselves in scoring position and then get themselves out with mistakes. So with that said, I think the Raiders red zone trips converting over I think just slightly over a third of the time. Tennessee points per play is towards the bottom of the league. I think bottom 5. I think drives are more likely to end in either field goals or punts here. No, not too many touchdowns in my book. Combined with the uncertainty with the Titans kicking game, we might see some missed field goals. There's just a lot going on here. Raiders missing, if Bowers is out, missing him is going to hurt that offense as well. So I could see this one coming down under 41.5. I can see why it's such a low number here. Also, obviously the Titans coming off their first win could be a letdown spot here on the offensive side of the ball as well. So those are the 2 recommended plays. Patriots Saints under 46. You got the Raiders and Titans under 41.5. Neither made my premium card, but leaned heavily in that direction based on the baller index over at themoneyballer.com. All the stats trends kind of pointing it in that direction, but I just had some questions on both offenses to the point where if they made mistakes, short fields could happen. So that's where I laid off those on my premium card. Once again, head over to wt.buzz/RC for free plays, for premium picks and packages. A lot of stuff going on over there. Not only the packages I mentioned earlier, but I also have a 5% play available. The historically number 1 in 5% NFL plays since the start of 2022. I built I think it's 44, 18, and 1 on 5% plays overall. So not just NFL, but that's overall since 2023. In the NFL specifically, number 1 in NFL spread since 2022. 58% win rate there. All-time leader in 5% NFL plays by units. That's I don't have that many. A lot of them came last year, but up over 45 units there, 70.8% win rate on 5% NFL plays. That's plus 39% ROI. So that's my 5% play available over at wt.buzz/RC. And for all your personal betting needs, head over to themoneyballer.com. They have the stats, trends, insights you need to make informed betting decisions. We have models and rating systems for NBA, MLB, WNBA, NFL. And you could use promo code RC50 to get 50% off your first billing cycle. That's Moneyballer, themoneyballer.com. That's my main source for handicapping. It's a big reason why I've had successful years at WagerTalk. So this is the end of the video, guys. Whether you fade or follow, it is on you to make that call. Good luck with all your actions. Until next time, peace.
Hi, happy Friday, Andy. And let's look at the Odds Logic live odds screen right now to get the current number. And again, you talked about if you shop around, I'm seeing some places Seattle's -1, some places Jacksonville's -1. So there is some line variance on this. Pick them the appropriate price here on the show, 47.5, the total pretty much across the board. It is juiced a little bit to the under, despite the fact that both these teams flew over the total last week. Seattle's 3-2 straight up and against the spread. Both losses, Seattle was very live to win. The fluky inning against San Fran in week 1, Sam Darnold had a sack fumble. They got to the 49ers 9-yard line in the closing. That was less than a minute ago, I think. That cost them that game. And then Darnold's interception inside 2 minutes last week against Tampa cost them a second game. That being said, this team's basically 2 plays away from being 5-0 and being priced in a very, very different range than they are right now. Seahawks do have some injury concerns. At the end of last week, they were missing 4 starters on the defensive side of the football. Don't know if Reek Woolen's going to play. Don't know if Devin Witherspoon is going to play this week. And those are impact injuries against Trevor Lawrence and the passing game. The Jags haven't exactly faced, and of course, Seattle's off a loss here. Well, Jacksonville's off a win, which is something that is definitely worth noting. The Jags 4-1 off of 3 straight wins. Their only loss this year, you want to talk about a fluky loss, came when Travis Hunter was called on a phantom pass interference call on 4th down in Cincinnati. And otherwise, we talk about the Jags as a 5-0 team right now. They probably should have won that game too. But yes, they beat Patrick Mahomes on Monday Night Football, in large part thanks to a 99-yard interception return touchdown. But prior to that, Bryce Young and the Panthers, Jake Browning in the second half of the Bengals game. They got C.J. Stroud when Stroud was struggling. They got an injured Brock Purdy, I should say, with banged up 49ers. And then last week, they had a 99-yard pick 6, which changes any game when that happens. And Mahomes picked him apart last week. His best pass rating of the season, 78 QBR, 318 yards in that ball game. Meanwhile, Trevor Lawrence averaging well below his career numbers in yards per pass attempt. There hasn't been a whole lot of explosiveness from this Jags offense, with the exception of Travis Etienne, who I don't trust to do that consistently. What have the Jags been doing? They've been winning the turnover battle. They've won the turnover battle 4 times in 5 games, 3+ turnovers 4 of those 5 games. And the one that they didn't against KC, again, a 99-yard interception return touchdown. So to say that they've had a significant advantage turnover-wise is very real. And maybe Darnold turned the ball over here. That is a possibility. But the stats that matter, Seattle, yards per play on offense, number 3 in the NFL, 6.3 yards per play. Jacksonville, number 16 at 5.4. So the Seahawks nearly a full yard per play better on offense. On defense, Seattle, number 9, 5.0 yards per play allowed. Jacksonville, number 21, 5.6 yards per play allowed. Advantage Seattle in both of those by a half a yard in one and a full yard in the other. That's a pretty big edge when you talk about per play basis. So I think the Seahawks might well be the better of these 2 teams. I don't love the West Coast team traveling east for the early start game, but if I'm playing this one, I don't believe in Jacksonville. It's Seattle or pass for this bet.
But tell everyone what you have up. We got Weekend Warrior. It's a big, big weekend of football. I know you've been running pretty good in football, so tell us about that.
Yeah, the college football has been outstanding. 10-3 over the last 2.5 weeks. Actually, I think it's 3 weeks now. I got to update that. But college football is on a 77% run. All football is on a 65% run. All sports on a 64% run. The baseball has been pretty darn good as well. Right now, we just have a single play up for Friday night. It's been a hectic morning. We'll have a big card posted as the day progresses today on Friday. But you talk about that weekend warrior package, $49. It's a deal. It doesn't get you tonight's play, but it'll get you Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Every play in every sport. Again, WT.buzz/TC to get on board. It's Joe Flacco time for the Cincinnati Bengals. Flacco keeps his career alive for at least one more stop. A trader to Cincinnati this week. And of course, trader to Cincinnati this weekend, Joe Flacco starting at Lambeau Field against the Green Bay Packers. Let's break it down. Teddy covers from WagerTalk.com with a big game breakdown for Cincy and Green Bay. Right now, look at the Odds Logic live odds screen. I'm seeing the Packers minus 14.5, pretty much across the board. Total 44.5. There is just breaking news about Cincinnati. That's Jamar Chase. Illness downgraded to questionable for Sunday's game in Green Bay. And if you take Jamar Chase out of the equation, you've got T. Higgins for Flacco to throw to. But it's not like Cincinnati's a team right now that can afford to lose a whole lot more superstar players. Again, this is a Bengals team whose roster is very top heavy. They paid their stars. They paid Chase. They paid Burrow. They paid Higgins. They paid Hendrickson. They need all those guys to be playing. Burrow's already out. If Chase misses too, it is a big loss for a team that if they're going to hang within this number, they're going to need production from their receiving core. The offensive line's been bad consistently for Cincinnati this year, and that could be a big issue with Flacco behind center. And look, I get it. Flacco gives them a spark. All right. There was no spark there with Jake Browning. Flacco gives them something. And Flacco is the type of quarterback who's comfortable throwing it up, allowing his receivers to make plays on the ball. What does that mean? That means you get some big gainers when Flacco's in the game. It also means the potential for interceptions. Potentially interceptions in bunches. And that's something the Packers were talking about a lot during their bye week. Before I talk a little bit more about this ball game, I want to ask you guys one simple favor. If you like these breakdowns, please hit that like button. Done. Bing. That's all I ask. It makes all the difference to the YouTube algorithms. We appreciate it very much. Like. If you want to comment below, tell us what you think about this game or whatever's going on this weekend in the NFL. We appreciate those comments. And of course, if you haven't done so already, more than 222,000 of you are following Wager Talk TV on YouTube. Become one of us. Become one of them. I'm following too. You get instant alerts every time these videos go live. It is helpful. And I encourage you, join the channel. 222,000 of you. Like, comment, subscribe. We appreciate that very, very much. I went on Bet On It, one of Wager Talk's signature shows this week, and talked about how I wanted to buy the Green Bay Packers off a bye and a tie. And of course, the Packers coming off a game in Dallas where they went 9 for 11 on third downs, 5 for 5 in the red zone, touchdowns, and yet didn't find a way to win. The first game all season where Jeff Hafley's defense have gotten gashed. They gave up 4 red zone touchdowns in 4 tries, and the defense was so bad they gave up the game-losing touchdown quickly enough to give the offense another chance. It was as bad a defensive performance as I've seen from Green Bay this season. So they've had a tie and a bye. And you read the quotes out of the bye week, and this was a team that felt like they lost. You know. In addition, all right, the Packers got an interception in the red zone against Detroit in week 1. Since then, the defense has a grand total of 1 takeaway. That came on a desperation 4th down heave at the end of the first half in Cleveland against Flacco. That was picked off. But really, the defense has yet to force a fumble in 4 games this season. They haven't forced turnovers the way they expected to. And this was a point of emphasis throughout the postseason, throughout the offseason, was creating turnovers. Matt LaFleur, quote, "There's been a couple more out there for us that we haven't quite capitalized on, just hasn't rolled our way up to this point." They're expecting more in terms of the turnover department here. And it's certainly a defense that's been pretty darn good. All right. The fact that they got gashed and having 4 turnovers, and now they're going against a Flacco who, oh, by the way, they've seen already this season. I'll call that advantage Green Bay in this regard. 14.5 points is a lot to lay in an NFL game. The back door is open. The front door is open. They don't necessarily have film on Flacco in this offense. But Green Bay, you can't compare. You look at Green Bay's offensively against Cincinnati's defense. Where do the Bengals stops come from? I don't see him getting a whole lot of stops. Especially, again, with the Packers hungry and focused off a tie and a bye. So the only question here is, are we going to see the offense, since you light up the scoreboard? And we haven't in basically any game this season so far, with the exception of week 2 against Jacksonville, where Browning was in and was just chucking the ball up. And that can happen. But I'm not convinced it happens here. If I'm playing, I'm laying. Count me as a Packers believer on Sunday in the NFL. Thank you so much for watching. Check out my homepage, wt.buzz/TC. 64% football run, 65% all sports run. The college has been rock solid. The baseball has been rock solid. NFL, crappy weekend last week. All right, flat out. Did not have a good week. That being said, full year, we're doing all right. And I expect to be back on track. So check out my page, wt.buzz/TC, to get on board for any package this weekend. If you're looking to partner up, now is an opportune time to do it. Again, wt.buzz/TC. Like, comment, follow, and best of luck with all your bets this weekend. Thanks for watching Wager Talk TV. I'm not surprised that the early money has come for the Kansas City Chiefs in their matchup against the Lions on Sunday night. Kansas City's playing for their season, in theory, and Detroit, perhaps fat and happy off of 4 consecutive wins, none of whom have come against a team as good as Kansas City. But there are things to talk about on the Lions side of the equation. Let's break it down. Teddy Covers from WagerTalk.com with a big game breakdown for this huge matchup on Sunday night at Arrowhead in Kansas City. Right now, look at the Odds Logic live odds screen. I'm seeing the Chiefs -2/-2.5. Total 52.5/53. The money's come for KC. And on a total standpoint, we've seen a little bit of over money for this one. No surprise, considering the potency of these two offenses and the fact that they've both been cashing overs, certainly of late. Both went over last week, etc., etc. So when we look at the Kansas City side of the equation, this is a team that was a 99-yard interception return touchdown away and a 4th down stop away from winning in Jacksonville last week, but they didn't get the win. Now 0-3 in games decided by a touchdown or less. Now this is after they'd won 17 in a row of these. 11-0 in these games last year. We expect another close game here. Does that mean something that the Chiefs aren't winning the type of games that they used to? I got a nice Patrick Mahomes quote, in this league, it's going to come down to 1-score games. That's what Coach Reed preaches, right? When we start off training camp every single year, it's about who executes at a higher level, and we haven't done that as a team throughout these first 5 weeks. No, they haven't. And I'm not convinced that talking about it makes it better for Kansas City. This is a team, and again, this whole preseason, I was like, yeah, I want to fade the Chiefs. I want to bet against Kansas City season wins, but Reed has been too good. Mahomes has been too good. I just don't want to fade Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes when it comes to season wins. But the arrows were pointing against Kansas City. They really were. All right. In the modern NFL, even when New England was as elite as New England was for winning divisions every year and with Tom Brady and company, there were years that the Patriots were Super Bowl contenders. There were years they were just the best team in that division. You can't stay at the top of the league indefinitely, even with an elite quarterback, even with an elite head coach. What happens? Well, eventually the salary cap comes to bite you, and Kansas City's put a lot of money into a handful of players that they didn't have to at the start of this run. When you win Super Bowl titles, you go to the Super Bowl every year, you have to pay guys. So what happens? The depth isn't as strong. It's just a natural facet of football. When you're paying the superstars, your depth declines. Your depth isn't what it was. We've seen that for Baltimore this year, certainly after they paid Lamar Jackson. We've seen it for Cincinnati after they paid Joe Burrow. We're seeing it for Kansas City now that they paid Patrick Mahomes. It really is a situation where top to bottom, this roster is not as good as it was 2, 3, 4 years ago. And it's showing. Meanwhile, there's this feeling of Detroit of, yeah, they haven't beaten anyone real. Oh, they've been beaten up on weaklings. Oh, they've been beaten up on passing, which they have. But all you can do is face the teams that are in front of you on your schedule. Detroit can't do anything about the fact that Joe Burrow got hurt. And Cincinnati was easier than they were supposed to be. They can't do anything about that Cleveland isn't any good offensively. That's not their fault. All they're doing is playing the teams in front of them. Certainly, when you're talking about going into Kansas City, going into Arrowhead, where, oh, by the way, Detroit won here in 2023, last time they came to visit, by a single point, but they made the plays to win that ball game. I don't downgrade the Lions for not having this tougher strength of schedule. It was like, oh, they lost to Packers in week 1. Week 1, if you're looking at week 1 results and trying to pick week 6 games, good luck to you. That's not my MO. And week 1, in many ways, is a very random week because so many teams don't play starters in the modern preseason. Detroit was one of them. They did not play a good game at Green Bay. If they play like that at Kansas City, they're not going to win this one. But Detroit's not playing like that right now. Their starters have been in the lineup for the last month since that week 1 debacle against Green Bay. And when we look at these two teams right now, from a power rating standpoint, Chiefs aren't power rated as number 1 team in the league. They're not. And you can make a case that Detroit is. Before I give you my recommendation for this game, my betting angle, I do want to ask you guys one simple favor. If you like this type of analysis, hit that like button. Thank you. Problem solved. Your work is done. We appreciate the comments below. We appreciate all of you who have subscribed to the WagerTalk YouTube channel. 222,000 plus have now subscribed to this channel. You get instant alerts every time these videos go live. So like, comment, subscribe, and of course check out my page, wt.buzz/TC. I'm entering the weekend, 26 and 14, 65% across sports over the last 2.5, almost 3 weeks now. So we're making money. We're making money in college football and baseball. My NFL last Sunday stunk, but NFL full season's been just fine. Check out the packages, wt.buzz/TC. We got weekend warrior packages if you want to come on board for the weekend, and obviously week-long, month-long, seasonal packages. I encourage you, and I understand, pick buying's not for everyone. If you want to get on board, let's partner up, get on board with the package, and let's make some money this October. Let's make some money this weekend. Check it out, wt.buzz/TC. So, Kansas City, circle the wagons time, defending champs. I'm not buying it. I think Detroit right now is the better of these two teams. No, even the dynasties, and Kansas City's in dynasty territory, even dynasties reach the point where, you're going to have to rebuild a little bit. And the fact that the Chiefs keep finding ways to lose, when Mahomes is throwing 99-yard pick sixes, that's not Kansas City playing at the top of their game. I think the Lions, right now, the better of these two teams, if I'm playing, I could only take Detroit plus the 2.5. Maybe you try them on the money line. That might be the better alternative. There you have it. There's my 2 cents. Thanks for watching. Best of luck with all your bets this weekend. And we appreciate you staying tuned for more quality video content right here on WagerTalk TV. Cheers.
Sunday Night Football on NBC. Chiefs Lions, one of the best games of the season. And I've got both the side and total free for you with analysis right here, right now. Hi, this is Steve Merrill, WagerTalk.com, right back here on WagerTalk TV, breaking down what should be a good one Sunday night. Detroit at Kansas City, 8:20 Eastern on NBC National TV, Sunday Night Football. And in this situation here, I think the Lions are an explosive offensive team. I think they've probably been the better team overall this season, but I think the situation might actually favor the Chiefs. And by the way, red flag alert, Detroit Lions looking like a public underdog this week. Public is pretty heavy on Detroit, and I know they're a small dog, just 2.5. I prefer to see dogs of more than a field goal to really call them a dog, a public dog. But still, Kansas City at home is going to be favored, yet the public is lining up heavy on Detroit. I'd fade the public in this one. I like Kansas City minus the 2.5, as long as it stays below that key number of 3. And I think it will, by the way, as some spots have -2. The sharper books have 2.5 as we head into the weekend, but some of the more square public books are sitting at -2. So I do think it stays below that key number. Now, yes, the Lions on a teaser would be attractive, taken with the extra 6 points up to plus 8 or 8.5. So if you like the Lions, you're better off using a 6-point teaser. I'd prefer to have Kansas City in the basic straight-up win situation on the strong home field, minus the 2.5. And I also think it's going to be a high-scoring game. Got to like the over in this one. I know it seems too obvious, and boy, has this line moved. Look ahead, opening line was around 48.5. It's now up to 52.5, 53, crossing over that key number of 51. I would have liked this a lot better had it stayed below the key number of 51. But with that said, the line has moved for a reason. It's been sharp money. I'm sure the public will be on the over also, but the public's not always wrong. And it's the highest total of the week. And we always look to play high totals over in all sports because even though the lines are big, they're usually not big enough. And I think that's the case here. Detroit looked pretty lackluster in their season opener against Green Bay a month and a half ago with just 13 points. But as I've always said, week 1 of the regular season is kind of week 4A. It used to be 5A, now it's 4A of the preseason. Detroit's had no problem scoring. They scored 90 points in the next 2 games, 71 the 2 games after that. They've scored 161 points over the last 4 games. So yes, on the surface for the season, they're averaging, 34.8 points. But over the last 4 games, they're averaging over 40 points a game. This is an explosive offense. And on the grass, on the road, it's not going to slow them down. 3 of their 5 games this year have been away from home on natural grass, including the Baltimore and the Cincinnati games 2 of the last 3 weeks in which they put up a combined 75 points offensively. Kansas City, not a lockdown defense like they've been in years past. Very mediocre. They're giving up 5.7 yards per play against teams that average just 5.6. Detroit Lions are averaging 6.1. Lions throw for 7.9 yards per pass. The Chiefs have faced opponents that average just 6.5. So I lean Kansas City, but you could definitely hedge that a little bit with the over because I do think this is going to be a back-and-forth game. Last team that has the ball might very well win. Not sure Detroit can slow down Kansas City either, though. The Chiefs' offense looked really bad in the Super Bowl last year. Battered offensive line, weak receiving core. They've shored up the offensive line a little bit, but they're starting, more importantly, to get some of their big playmakers back. I mentioned this last week when I previewed that Jacksonville-Kansas City game, and I liked the over in that one, landed 59. Kansas City should have won that game minus the 3.5. They outplayed Jacksonville. The Jags had the late touchdown, fortunate drive there. I know KC came from behind, but they were winning 14-0 in that game. So coming off the loss here should be a focus spot. I don't see them dropping 2 games in a row, especially on the strong home field. So I lean KC, and I also like the over 52.5 in this one on Sunday night. Side and total for you free. What are your thoughts on this huge spotlight game, Sunday Night Football on NBC? Drop them in the comments below and some analysis, maybe some player props. Obviously, I'm going to lean towards the offensive players over, whether it's passing yards, receptions. Something I pointed out last week on Wager Talk Today for this game, on the Monday night game, Jacksonville-KC, is look at Mahomes' longest pass over, some of his receivers' longest reception over. They've been trying to make more big plays this season. I think they will get some one-on-one coverage with the Lions. That's why I like the over, but it also correlates to some longest reception, longest pass props over for Kansas City, Mahomes, and the receivers as well. What other props are you looking at? Hey, drop them in the comments below. Let's learn and earn and win together here on Wager Talk TV. And if you're liking these free play videos, all I ask is a thumbs up like. Click the thumbs up like. It takes 2 seconds. Boom, you did it. And I will keep these videos coming, including both of the Monday Night Football games. We have a Monday night doubleheader here. Bills, Falcons, and Bears, not my Washington Commanders. I've got both free for you for Monday Night Football as well. I do the Thursday night games. We missed our first prime game all season, by the way. We're still 6-1 on the Thursday night free plays in the NFL. And I try to give you the Sunday and all the Monday night games as well. If you're liking it, all I ask is a thumbs up like. If you have a couple extra seconds, a positive comment below doesn't hurt as well. Hey, subscribe to Wager Talk TV. Over 223,000 subscribers. Can't be wrong. Make sure you click subscribe. And when you do so, consider clicking the bell as well. You click that bell, you get an instant alert when all these videos, including the Monday night games, are posted each and every week. And if you want my personal best bets, check out my page, Steve Merrill, WagerTalk.com. You can get there quicker with shortcut wt.buzz/SM. And while you're there, you'll see not only a daily free play, last cut for my best bet card goes up free for everybody, but you also see some best bet special offers. 7 days for $77, 3 months, buy 3 months, get the 4th month for free. Or the best deal, get the rest of 2025 for free, the next 2.5 months completely free when you sign up in advance for 2026. And that is how you take a true, consistent investment approach to sports betting. All sports, all access. College football, pro football, college basketball, pro basketball, Major League Baseball, all 5 best bets, all 5 sports that I release best bets in on a daily basis. Doesn't matter which package you choose, a 1 day, a 1 week, a 1 month, a 1 year. Every client's getting the same best bets I'm personally using. And right now you can save big with those special offers I just mentioned. No promo codes needed. Check them out right now along with the daily free play. Steve Merrill, WagerTalk.com, and get there quicker using WT.Buzz/SM. On the way out, follow me on social media at Steve Merrill, 2 R's, 1 L, MERRIL, at Steve Merrill on X and Instagram. And stay tuned because there's more free play videos, including both Monday Night Football games, coming up next. 2 Monday Night Football games this week. Count them. 2 on ESPN and ABC. Bills, Falcons, Bears, Commanders. I've got free plays and analysis for both of your Monday Night Football games right here in this video right now. Hi, this is Steve Merrill, WagerTalk.com, right back here on Wager Talk TV. And I love these double headers, especially with the staggered start times. Maybe stagger it more than just an hour, but it's still nice to get 2 games on Monday. Let's spread out the schedule. What are your thoughts? Comment below. I do read the comments and I reply back. And we'll start with the first game at 7:15 Eastern, Buffalo, Atlanta. And by the way, we have teams coming off bye weeks in both games. Both underdogs are coming off bye weeks, so that's an interesting dynamic. And I do think it helps Atlanta here. Yes, they played well in their game before the bye. Of course, they played horrible the week before that, and they were shut out by the lowly Carolina Panthers. But they bounced back with a strong game against the Commanders, who played the other Monday night game. And by the way, we had a strong best bet on Atlanta in that game a couple weeks ago. And if you recall, it also made my Fade the Public video. As the public faded the Falcons, they were on the Commanders, and we thought that was a mistake. In fact, the Commanders were a public underdog 2 weeks ago. Falcons were -2, closed as high as -3, and they won the game 34-27. Nothing misleading about it. Had over 430 offensive yards after being shut out the week before against Carolina. And Penix played much better. His really one bad game this season was that Panthers start, but he had a QB rating of 80 or higher in his other 3 starts, with a 3-1 TD touchdown to interception ratio, and an excellent game against the Commanders 2 weeks ago. 77% completions, a 126 QB rating, and 2 touchdowns. And once again, the public is fading the Falcons. If you watch my NFL Fade the Public video for Week 6, you'll know this one made the cut. It was one of the foremost public plays of the week. Public is heavy on the Buffalo Bills Monday night, and we don't just blindly fade the public, but we do use it as a filter. And there's a couple subsets in which I like to use. First of all, quality teams, and that's one of the reasons I mentioned fading public dogs. We got that with the Falcons last time, and I still think the Falcons are a quality playoff caliber team this year, as long as Penix stays controlled and doesn't turn the ball over. And at home off the bye week, I like the schedule set up here. And one of the reasons the Bills are so public is because they're coming off a loss, and everyone thinks, oh, Buffalo can't lose 2 in a row. They can't drop 2 in a row after a 4-0 start. But let's not forget, they were trailing the majority of the game against Baltimore in Week 1, and that's sure not looking very good now, as the Ravens have been a vastly overrated team. And then their 3 wins in between came against the Jets, Dolphins, and Saints, 3 of the worst teams in the NFL. They lost outright as over a touchdown favorite to the Patriots. Not sure the Bills are the powerhouse team everybody thinks. We'll fade the public in this one with the Atlanta Falcons plus the 4.5, a live home dog on Monday night, 7:15 Eastern on ESPN. Now, your other game is on ABC at 8:15 Eastern, Bears and Commanders. I was about to say Bears, Redskins, because, boy, I think of those 1980s playoff matchups. Darryl Green, punt return, pulled rib muscle, and he still scores. I know there's a lot of Redskin fans that watch these videos. You see all the memorabilia behind me. I was a lifelong Redskin fan, but I'm not a Commanders fan, not my Washington Commanders. Change the name back. Is there a hashtag for that? HTTR. And look, I joke about it, but I do think the Commanders are a bit overrated this season, and a little bit of a phony win last week. They were down 10-0. Chargers were driving the length of the field to go up maybe 17-0. They fumbled, and that turned the game around. Washington outscored LA 27-0 after that fumble when they were almost about to be down 13 or 17-0 late second quarter. Washington is a dynamic offensive team, and Jaden Daniels is back under center. So while the situation seems to favor the Bears, by the way, they're coming off a bye week like the Falcons. I mentioned how both Monday night dogs are coming off byes, and that's kind of strange, isn't it? You give a team a bye week, and then you give them an extra day with Monday Night Football. Nonetheless, Chicago playing pretty good football heading into the bye. Back-to-back wins and covers against the Cowboys and Raiders. They put up 56 points in those games, and the offense is coming to life, throwing the ball a little bit better. And they should have success against a very weak Washington defense. The problem, though, and the reason it's hard for me to lean Bears here, is that I think Washington's going to have offensive success as well. Bears' weakness this year has been a terrible run D. I mean, talk about terrible. 6.1 yards per rush allowed. It's one of the worst numbers I've seen into October ever in the NFL. Over 164 rushing yards a game allowed. And yes, the Commanders are a run-based offense. Jaden Daniels a mobile quarterback, and the Commanders are averaging almost 6 yards per carry. So on paper, huge mismatch here with the Commanders' rush attack against the Bears' rush D. Bears also not a good pass D. In fact, overall this year, they're giving up almost 7 yards per play and almost 29.5 points a game. So the Commanders should be able to move the ball, but I'm not sure Washington can slow down Chicago either. Commanders have also one of the worst pass defenses in the NFL this year, and the Bears are starting to throw the ball better. So two offenses have the edge. Let's not overthink it. No pun intended. Well, actually, there was a pun intended. I like the over in this one. Over 49.5. It's 49.5, 50 as we head into the weekend. 51's a key number. 50 is a dead number. 51, about a 3% chance this game lands on exactly 51. So you want to get 49.5, 50, even at 50.5. But once again, below 51, I like the over in Monday Night Football, 8:15 Eastern, between the Bears and Commanders on ABC. Hey, there you go. Doubleheader Monday night. What are your thoughts? Do you like these doubleheaders? I love them. Wish maybe they stagger the games more than an hour apart. Although if you're on the East Coast and you got to get up for work early in the morning Tuesday, I guess you can watch both games instead of having to wait for a 10 or 10:30 Eastern start. So it makes sense. What are your thoughts? Comment below. I read the comments. I reply back. And also thumbs up like. If you're liking these free play videos, I will keep them coming. All I ask is that you click the thumbs up like. It takes 2 seconds. I've done every Thursday night game. We finally missed a Thursday night play this week. Still 6-1 in the free Thursday night NFL plays. I do the Sunday, the Monday night games every week as well. Free for you here on Wager Talk TV. All I ask is a thumbs up like. And hey, a positive comment below is nice as well. Also, make sure you subscribe to Wager Talk TV. Over 223,000 subscribers can't be wrong. Don't cost nothing. Click subscribe and also click the bell as well. You will get an instant alert when one of my free play videos is posted each day throughout the week, including the baseball playoffs. Hey, don't forget the NBA starts in about 9 days. Woo! The following Tuesday, the NBA starts, and also college hoops right after that. And speaking of all these sports that are going on right now, yes, it is a great time to be a direct client at WagerTalk.com. If you go to my page right now, you'll see the last chance to get some very special offers. 7 days for $77. Buy 3 months, get the 4th month for free. That's $300 instant savings. Or the best deal, it's the one I like, the rest of 2025 for free when you sign up for 2026. Look, if you're ready to take a serious, consistent investment approach, the 1-year all access is the way to go. And if you sign up right now, you get the next 2.5 months for free. No promo codes needed. You pick out the package that works best for you, whether it's a 1 day, a 1 month, a 1 year. Every client gets the exact same personal best bet that I'm using each and every day. It's been that way since I started over 29 years ago in August of 1996. And oh, by the way, I post a bonus free play every day on my page as well. It's usually the last cut from my best bet card. Goes up free for everyone. So even if you're still building your bankroll, get the daily free play right now and then check out the best bet specials. Steve Merrill, WagerTalk.com, and hey, get there quicker with shortcut wt.buzz/SM. On the way out, don't forget to follow me on social media on X and Instagram at Steve Merrill, 2 R's, 1 L, MERRIL, at Steve Merrill on X and Instagram. And stay tuned here to Wager Talk TV because you know there's more free play videos coming up next.
It is Last Call Sunday. I'm the prop queen. 45 minutes to an hour, getting you all you need to know going into this Sunday slate of Week 6 of the NFL. We've got great guests as always. Every week we are joined by Yanni the Greek live from Las Vegas, breaking down all the sharp groups, actions. What do you want to be on their side? It's probably the right move. But we know the side that you want to be on, and that's John Murray of the Westgate, the super book. He's coming on. Does every Sunday. We discuss what the book needs for the upcoming week. And I know that my group chat and my friends, they all need to know the needs. And last, but certainly not least, Jesse Schul going to join the show, and we'll talk some NFL best bets. And I've got some props as well going down the board of the 1 o'clock slate. We've got the Broncos up 10-6 over the Jets in London at halftime. If you forgot, yes, that game started at 9:30 a.m. Eastern time. And again, remember, if you have any questions and you want to talk to our WagerTalk handicappers, make sure to drop any comments in the section, in the comment section. We are going to interact. Any questions you have, I'll definitely make sure to be asking Yanni the Greek and Jesse Schul any of the questions that you guys have for the upcoming slate. And again, have your Odds Logic screen ready to go. It's oddslogic.com/propqueen. And make sure that you can see where all the lines started and they moved from open to close, where they're moving towards. If you could get the best line at certain books, it's created by Don Best and Sports Option Guys. So it's really good. Real-time odds screen. Make sure to check that out. It's oddslogic.com/propqueen. Love that everyone's already writing in the chat. Happy Sunday to everybody. I'm looking to see so far. Everyone but Yankees fans. It's over, bro. RJ Harvey props for Jesse. He said he's sweating out right now. We can talk about that in a little bit. Puka props over 100 yards. You guys are coming at my Ravens today. Like, what is going on? Gosh, Yankees, Ravens. Like, the Yankees season's over. The Ravens, we know that we suck until Lamar at least comes back after the bye. I still don't know why Cooper Rush is starting for the Ravens instead of Tyler Huntley. I don't know why any of my coaches make any of these bad decisions. I guess we're not the Jets. I guess that's like the only silver lining. Sorry, all you Jets fans. This is just brutal. You're down 10-6 at the half. And I'm sure Yanni the Greek had some live action come in early this morning on this London game because, of course, sharps love to bet the ugliest games on the board, this being one of them. Yanni the Greek joining the show now. You changed it up. No Phillies anymore now that the season's over. You're a Dodgers guy now.
Right away. You know, I'm ready to jump ships. I'm a gambler. I'll jump ship next day. The following day.
You like the Dodgers now?
Zero loyalty. Only loyalties to my pocket, my bankroll. That's it.
So are you like you're on the Dodgers bandwagon?
No. I'm on Seattle.
Oh, good. Okay, I love that. I wanted anyone who won that game between the Mariners and Tigers to win the World Series.
I just want to share real quickly because this game I know people are watching. I'm on the Jets. I have the Jets plus 7.5 as a big bet. I just took the Jets plus 3.5 in the second half. I just took under 13 team total for Denver. I bet that 3 different places. I can't give it to subscribers because, you know, that second half stuff, time sensitive stuff, can't use it. But I just blasted plus 3.5 on the Jets in the second half. I just blasted the under 13 in the second half. So you're not going to find 13. You'll be lucky to find 10.5 now. And we had Justin Fields under 44.5 rushing yards also. So, yeah, we bet that early game for sure. Yeah, I don't like those early games either. But
there's such variance with going to London and being in an international game. You always feel like they're low scoring. But, of course, the one time that you probably bet an under, it ends up going over. But this game, Broncos Jets, it's an absolute mess. And the Jets did force a turnover. But, Yanni, what made you like the Jets this week?
I honestly didn't think it was a good spot for the Broncos. I just thought they're giving way too many points. They've played some good games. They're coming off 3 straight covers. I thought there's a little recency bias there. Let's not forget, it's a team that was barely a 2-point favorite against the Giants. You know what I mean? They were big. Oh, forgive me. Wait, let me pull this up. Sorry. My power rating had them way lower, and the recency bias of them coming off a big win against Philadelphia as 4-point dogs, now having to fly over to England, having to play the Jets at nothing to get excited about. It's not like it's a divisional game. And I just thought that was just a little bit too many points. 7 and a hook got me on that. But again, we'll see how that turns out.
The chat's already hating on my Ravens. I don't blame them. They suck.
I like the Ravens. I took 8 with the Ravens.
I feel like
Listen
everyone's
to me
all in
clearly.
on the
Listen
Rams.
to me carefully about your Ravens. Whether they lose by 40 today, this is a great spot to take Baltimore. A great spot. You have Cooper Rush, who's coming off a game where he had a 58 QBR. Just look at what he's done throughout his career. He's not a below 60 QBR guy. I'm not telling you he's the next Tom Brady, but he could only progress towards his mean, and his mean's better than what we saw with those 3 interceptions. So I have that going for me. I have a Baltimore team that continues to get dropped in the power ratings, but like usual, the public overreacts to what we saw last. Ariel, it was just 3 weeks ago that we were arguing this is the best team in the NFL. They were 1-2. I think, and we were still saying on paper, they're favored over everyone on the neutral field. I understand the defense has a lot of holes. They're 32nd in efficiency. I get it, but there's only one way to move from there, and that's up. That's the thing you also got to factor in. And I just think at home, if this franchise has any pride after the way they played last week, they're not going to make it easy on the Rams. They're not going to make it easy on them, who are traveling cross country, playing out of conference, and a hungry Baltimore team. I get it. Maybe they gave up on the coach. Maybe they gave up on the year, right? But that's still a lot of points to be given one of the strongest home field advantages in all of the NFL.
Yeah, well, I hope they come out and play with some heart because it looks like they haven't recently. Speaking of injuries, the Arizona Cardinals have a ton of them, including their quarterback, Kyler Murray. The line was 6.5, 7. Now we're seeing 9.5. The Cardinals catching points against those Colts. Again, we keep waiting for Daniel Jones and the Colts to regress back to the mean, but the numbers keeps moving in their favor, Yanni. Is it too much?
Yeah, we thought that was coming. Talked about it earlier in the week on Bet On It. When is the teaser protection coming? Because Indianapolis will be one of the most one-sided bet games of the year. They're tied into every parlay. They're tied into every teaser, money line parlays. So there's a lot of risk on Indianapolis. The question was, when are they going to 9.5? The fact that the books weren't there yet and they were willing to take that action is a telling sign that that was an inflated price we were already looking at with the Indianapolis side. And let's not forget, the look ahead was like 3.5. So there was already a big adjustment off the look ahead based on recency bias and Kyler Murray not being 100%. Once confirmed, obviously, the market reacted. I think this line's way too high. I thought it was way too high before the adjustment. I think it's way too high after the adjustment. I think there's only one way you could bet this now. It's either Arizona or pass. You can't take Indianapolis right now. What were you waiting for? You could have bet it this time last week at -3, 3.5. You could have bet it 5-6 days ago at -6.5, 7. You could have bet it 2 days ago at -7, 7.5, 8. Why would you want to lay 9 today? 9.5. It makes absolutely no sense. You're not going to make money betting sports that way. Again, Indy could go out there and win this game by 40 points. It's still a terrible bet. And if you want to make money betting sports, your only goal is placing good bets. Forget the outcome. You can't control it. You can't control interceptions. You can't control fumbles when they fall on the ground. You can't control a blown call. You can't control none of that. But can you place good bets? And if you if you took Indianapolis at -6, 7, 7.5, 8 even, you placed a good bet. You did your job. But if you're taking Indianapolis -9, 9.5, you're doing a terrible job. That's not how this works. And whether they win today or not, it's irrelevant. Your book's going to end up with your money with that, approach.
Speaking of lines that move,
sometimes got to give some tough love because I love the people. They're up.
They need tough love. It's okay. Speaking of lines that moved, Johnny, the Jacksonville Jaguars were -1.5 at home against the Seattle Seahawks, and now we're seeing this line go Jaguars +1.5 on the live line. The current markets. What did you see in this Seattle-Jacksonville game?
Well, here's the thing. Darnold right now is top 5 in passing success rate. Number 1, no surprise, Daniel Jones. Goff, number 3, Mac Jones, number 4. Like these guys that are up there, and I talk about it all the time, passing success rate, one of the highest correlations to winning in the NFL. No surprise. So that obviously gives them the advantage. But when I look at Seattle, I don't think this is a bad spot for them because I mean, for what's it called? Jacksonville. I get it. They're coming off a big Monday night game where they got a nice win. And I think many expect this to be like a letdown spot. I'm not too sure of that. I'm not too sure Seattle should be going into Jacksonville favored right now. I get it. Jacksonville's offense not playing all that well. Trevor Lawrence down near the bottom when it comes to passing success rate. So I don't like that. That's what's kept me off the game. But I'm fighting it hard not to bet Jacksonville because I really don't think they should be an underdog in this spot. Like it would be a fade of Seattle more than a bet on Jacksonville, where I don't think Seattle should be this road favorite. I know they're 2-0 on the road. That's not going to continue. That has to do with strength of schedule more than anything else. So I like Jacksonville. I just haven't been able to get to the window with them.
Another early game, Chargers-Dolphins. Chargers are looking like a much better team than Miami, yet they're only laying 3.5. I know they're on the road, LA, but you're still getting a terrible Miami defense. I saw in the chat people asking about this one. Is minus 3.5 kind of fishy for LA?
Well, the Chargers need this game. They've had a bad, tough schedule, the way they're flying all over the place. But this is almost a must win for them. Another team where just
must win by 4.
2 weeks ago, we were saying just how good they are. Like I have a future on them, so I'm biased towards the Chargers. I think this line's about a half point to a point too high. I think 3 should be the absolute most that they should be favored here. That's why gun the head. I'm taking Miami with the points. If I have to, I do. I think Miami with the points is how I would play it. Because let's not forget, Miami's played some pretty close games. Even with Buffalo, they covered that game, getting double digits. At Carolina, it was a field goal game. Other than getting blown out by Indianapolis, they've played relatively well. And you want to play Miami. If you're going to bet Miami, it's a team you want to bet as an underdog. You know what I mean? It's not a team you want to bet as a favorite. This is kind of the spot you want to take them. At home, catching points. Their splits as obvious as it gets. They're a team that's 0-3 on the road, 1-1 at home. So obviously their home field advantage matters to this team. I like Miami or pass.
A game that intrigues me a lot today, Yanni, and it's coming up in the 4 p.m. Eastern time window, 49ers and Bucks. So the 49ers are catching 3.5 on the road in Tampa. Tons of injuries again. No Brock Purdy under center for San Francisco. Mac Jones even looked banged up his last start. The Bucks are without some wide receivers. I mean, there is a ton of injuries on both sides. Is it tempting to take 3.5, or you think that's a little public for San Fran?
One of the groups I work with, I laid the points for them. I laid Tampa Bay when that line opened. I didn't release it to my subscribers. I didn't love the game. It's so impressive what San Francisco's doing. They have 2 quarterbacks that are in the top 5 in passing success rate. You have Purdy at number 2 and Mac Jones at number 4. That's very, very impressive on the San Francisco side. I'm afraid to fade that when you have a backup playing that well. And usually the market overreacts that the drop-off is worth more than it is. So I know the sharp side's Tampa Bay, but I think that's at less than 3. You know what I mean? Now that you're talking about a field goal and higher, I think it's a dog or pass situation unless you got down early on Tampa Bay. Because, again, Tampa's the sharp side. And I have Tampa winning this game. I made on, what did I make Tampa? About a 2-point favorite. So I thought the line's a little bit too high. So I think it's a dog or pass situation right now, but not a game I'm on.
There's an AFC North rivalry game, Steelers-Browns. Browns elected not to have that bye after going to London last week. They lost to the Vikings in London. Now you have to come back. There's a really tough divisional rival in the Steelers. It's 5.5-point spread. What do you see in that game?
Talk about another short play that's public side, and that's the Steelers, just like Tampa Bay. Sharps came in, laid the 5.5 with Pittsburgh. That's why we're looking now at 6. A little bit surprising that you have the public and the Sharps on the same side, and yet we're not at a touchdown yet. To me, that's a telling sign. Like that, sirens are going off. Red flags are everywhere. What's wrong with Pittsburgh? Why is this not at 7? So what do? I go over, I click my odds logic screen. I hit the sharpest books and I say, wait, did they go to 6.5 or 7? And if they did anyone pick it off? That's what you want to look at. Nope, they never did. They never got to 7. So then I look at my square books. Did they get to 7? Did that get picked off? Nope, that didn't happen either. So why is this not budged above that 6? I don't know. With all the one-sided money that's coming in on Pittsburgh, just reading the market, forget the handicap, it tells me not only is Cleveland plus the points the side, but you probably want to sprinkle a little something on that Cleveland plus the points, that 1-4 Cleveland team.
Before I let you go, and I asked all my questions, even though I guess I do have one more, and then I'll get to what else you saw on the board. But Kelly just sent me the Superbook contest, and the number 1 pick against the spread this week was the Kansas City Chiefs.
Ooh, reverse. People are doing the reverse psychology now here. Oh, that's all that is. That's a read. What was the line on the Super contest?
I think it was, let me double check it real quick.
Yeah, because that'll matter. That's important.
2.5.
2.5?
And it's down to 1.5 now.
So I was like, okay, maybe they're betting the stale number. You know what I mean? Maybe it's a 1. Maybe it's a pick 'em.
Nope,
No,
2.5.
they like Kansas City. That's what I thought was going to happen because we all start to play like psychic. And we all start to think, what does Vegas know? What's going on? Are they setting traps? Dude,
Yep.
I'll say it again, and I get it. We all like that information. What does the book need? What is this? What is all the public on? What? At the end of the day, the book doesn't really need anything. Right now, I'm watching the back end, and I swear to you, Ariel, a guy just bought 1.5 on an NFL total. He laid like 150 to go under 45 instead of going under 43.5. So he thinks this is what his reasoning is. At minus 110, we think that's a 52.5% chance. At minus 150, we think it's a 60% chance. So if he took a step back, what he's saying, he doesn't believe that there's greater than a 52% chance that this stays under 43.5. But he does think there's a 60% chance it stays under 45. So he's not 53% that it'll stay under 43.5, but at 45, he's 60% sure. Like, in what universe does that make sense? That you don't think it has a 52% chance of staying under 43.5, but now at 45, you think it's a 60% chance that you're willing to pay it. When bettors are placing bets like that, you really don't need to do much except take the action, book the action. That's usually what it comes down to with the books. Like, I know everybody loves what does the book need, but they really don't need much. At that game, I'm interested to see what happens. Does the Detroit money come in? Because all the sharps are going to tease Detroit. They're going to say they're going to come in. They're going to take Detroit up to 8.5. They're going through 3, 6, 7. So the books already know that's going to happen. What are they going to set themselves
at first,
up for?
that's why I was nervous about the lines, because if they weren't going to move it off 2.5, which they did to 1.5, but if they weren't going to, then I was very curious about, okay, does the book not care then that they're going to get all these teasers on the Lions? Clearly they did end up caring. So it's a good sign for Detroit that they moved the line to 1.5, not just because, of course, it moved in their favor, but because they are doing teaser protection.
Listen, I agree. The game has me stumped. I haven't released anything. I haven't bet it. It's like,
what do you like today, Yanni? What do the groups like today?
I think the psychology is that, wait, why is Kansas City favored? Detroit's the better team. You know what I mean? And I think they're thinking too deep, that Vegas knows something. What are we on today? Let me give you a couple totals. I'll give you a few totals that I released. Cincinnati, Green Bay, I went under 45. Arizona, Indianapolis, we went under 47. And then the last one was Rams, Baltimore. Rams, Baltimore, under 45. So there's 3 totals for you. All premium plays, 3% plays for you. Under 45, Cincinnati. Under 47, Arizona. Under 45 in Baltimore Rams. 3-0 or 2-1 at worst.
Ooh, okay. I like it. Trying to think. Oh, baseball. That's what I wanted to ask you. Baseball. What do you got?
I'm a little biased, obviously.
What?
I'm a Seattle. I need Seattle.
Seattle futures.
Yeah, because of my future, I'm biased on the Seattle side. I need Seattle. Let me see if I have anything though for you before you go on that game. Like if something sticks out in the series or no, see, they're not betting anything yet, man. All the attention's on freaking football. Till the game gets closer, it's all on football. But I need Seattle to steal game one. If they steal game one, I'm comfortable they'll win this series. I need Seattle today, so I'm cheering Seattle in hard today.
And by the way, guys, he's saying Seattle.
That's why I hate
Mariners,
being a fan. That's why I don't like that feeling. I like to bet it and not even watch it.
I like we're on the same side though. I do like Seattle too. I like Seattle. Monday Night Football game thoughts before we get to John Murray.
Oh, real quick. This is a huge Monday night game for Atlanta. They haven't had one there for a couple of years. They're coming off a bye week. Like if this team has anything, they need to show up tomorrow. They need to show up and at least cover that number. But where I think there's some value that jumped off the board at me was the Chicago Bears. They're playing good, man. They're coming off. I get it.
And this is a revenge game.
It was Dallas and the Raiders, not good teams, but the market had it at coin flip games. You know what I mean? And they end up beating Dallas by more than 2 touchdowns. They get a tough win against a bad Raiders team. I think there's a little recency bias there. And you have Washington returning home where they've crushed it. They've outscored their opponents. If you look at their point differential at home, that's the reason this line's as high as it is. I don't think it should be more than a field goal. Again, they don't have a 3-point home field advantage. So there's no way this line should be above 3 on a neutral field. I don't think Washington's that much better. So, yeah, I like Chicago tomorrow. Right now, I like Chicago. I haven't bet it, haven't released it, but right now, Chicago's sticking out. Don't want to pay myself in the
Bears. They lost on like a last-second play to Washington last time out, and you had to imagine that Caleb Williams is thinking about it. Yanni, what are you promoting today?
All right, my package is up there. The Sunday card, handful of 4% plays, 3% plays, still always top 3 in profit. NFL regular season, coming off my first losing week. I had 7 straight winning weeks in college football. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Lost about 8-9 units yesterday, but we're still up close to 100 for the year. So looking for a bounce back day. We're going to do it in the NFL today. Head on over. Steam Room Talk starts in about 40 minutes. So let's do some damage. Good luck to you too, Ariel. Go Ravens. Go Ravens.
Go Ravens. Thanks, Yanni. And make sure to catch him at Greek_Gambler. We've got John Murray joining the show. We've got Jesse Shule coming up after JM. So let's bring on the guy from Las Vegas who's over at the Superbook at the Westgate, my great friend, John Murray. Happy Sunday.
Good morning. How are you doing today?
I'll let you know in about 4 hours. I hope.
Oh, yeah. Well, let's get right into it because we're going to need the same side as you this morning. We need the Ravens big.
You do?
Right. Of course. Ooh. And it's interesting how much things can change in the NFL. Because who would have thought that on week 6 we'd be sitting here and we need the Ravens
as
a
most?
touchdown
Is that like the
home
biggest
dog.
need of the day?
I think it's the biggest need of the 10 a.m.s. No, Carolina. Carolina's the biggest need at 10 a.m., but the Ravens are right there just behind them. 7-point dog at home in week 6. That's why, I always, I always tease your friend at Kelly in Vegas on Twitter when she's mapping Survivor and she's like, oh, in week 10, we'll need to do this. You don't know that in the NFL.
No.
We never would have believed that we would need Baltimore as a 7-point dog in Baltimore.
I couldn't tell you
that's
last
where
time
we are.
Baltimore was a 7-point dog at home.
I can't even remember. Probably before you were born. It's been a long time.
Well, there were some bad years. We did have some, but their defense always typically keeps them in games, which is not the case these days.
No.
I kind of like Carolina today, though. I know it's an ugly side, but that Dallas D has been terrible.
It has, and I think Bryce Young has shown some signs of life. We need Carolina, and then the other one will need. The morning games are awful. Good God,
awful,
terrible games. We'll need New Orleans at home against New England. New England a 3-point favorite in that game. We need the Saints. So some really, really ugly underdogs that we need this morning here in the NFL.
Ooh, okay. So Ravens, Panthers, Saints is who you guys need. I feel like you guys have needed the Saints every week this season.
And the Panthers every week for as long as I can remember. Yeah, pretty much.
Really ugly.
So
really
we got some rough ones. It looks like the afternoon. Right now we need we need Tampa. We've taken a lot of money on San Francisco in that game. I think that might change, though. I wouldn't be surprised if that changes a little bit. I think money will come back the other way. We don't really have a big need in the Bengal game right now. Bengals Packers is pretty even. There is another one in the morning we need. This will be fun. Arizona.
You need Arizona. Of course you need it. But what number do you
Arizona.
need Arizona at?
At 7, at +7, because the big money came in -7 on Indianapolis. Arizona and their height challenged quarterback Kyler Murray's not playing today, I think. So they got the backup in their backup Jacoby Brissett. Ariel, is that correct? Check your notes. I have no idea. I'm just guessing, but
I think you're right, which is kind of funny because, it is, and that's kind of a revenge game for him in Indy.
Well, he's played for every team in the league, so
I'd
say that. I think that yes, pretty much every time the guy takes the field, he's got revenge on his mind.
Well, I saw this stat also. Speaking of that, Adam Schefter tweeted in regards to Joe Flacco, who's starting for the Bengals today. No quarterback in the Super Bowl era ever has started and won against the same opponent while playing for different teams in the same season. Joe Flacco started for the Browns, beat the Packers week 3, and now faces Green Bay again.
What does it say about the Bengals quarterback room that they can trade for a guy on Monday and just be like, okay, you're starting this week? Like they don't.
I guess it means that your offensive scheme is pretty easy.
That's pretty bad. I mean, I'm guessing Zach Taylor's
just
offense.
Throw to Jamar Chase. He's
good. Apparently, Zach Taylor's offense isn't too complicated if you can just start 5 days after being traded to the team. Green Bay's defense is pretty good. Green Bay's off a bye week. It's talk about a tall task for Joe Flacco today.
I also saw, because our friend Kelly in Vegas sent into the chat, that the Kansas City Chiefs were the #1 pick for the Super Contest.
Yeah, I think that will be the most bet game of the day. I'm not breaking any ground there, but I will tell you Detroit is a very popular underdog play tonight. So Detroit right now, Detroit's getting more than twice as many tickets as Kansas City. And I think we did see one sharp account take Kansas City -2. Detroit's got a lot of guys hurt in their secondary going into tonight's game. So we'll see if the Chiefs can take advantage of that. But there are a lot of defensive injuries for the Lions.
Well, it scares me because early this week, I really liked Kansas City, even laying the 2.5. But then I saw the Super Contest that everyone's on them. But then you're telling me that outside of the Super Contest, which is even more public, would be the bet slips. So the public is on the Lions?
The public's on the Lions for sure here at the Superbook, yes. But why does it scare you? You can just watch baseball tonight. You're free.
I'm going to be watching baseball tonight.
You don't have to watch this game. You can just watch baseball, the American League Championship Series. I'm
really excited for it because after that Seattle and Detroit game, I said this to Yanni, I'll say it to you. I was rooting for whoever won that game 5 to win the World Series. So now I'm a Seattle Mariners fan.
Well, we got rid of our biggest liability in the future book. We got rid of it last night. Chicago lost to Milwaukee. We need Seattle big here in game 1 today. We've taken a lot of money on Toronto already. We need this. We need the Mariners. We actually do okay on the Dodgers in the future book. So shout out to our guys. Usually the Dodgers are a team we're just buried on. And this year we're doing fine. So we don't really have a major concern in the futures market here going into the Final Four of baseball. We're just going to take this game by game, and we're rooting for Seattle big time in game 1 tonight in Toronto.
Oh, in game 1, not for the World Series?
No, I'm talking about in game 1.
Wow.
Game 1. Yeah, just to clarify that. We've taken a lot of money on the Blue Jays. We need the Mariners tonight.
I love that. Okay, then I'll go bet the Mariners tonight in some capacity. I'm just trying to see what that line is right now. Seattle is +136 up against Kevin Gossman and the Toronto Blue Jays. Bryce Miller on the mound for Seattle. Oof.
For how long though? Isn't it interesting now? These pitchers pitch like 1 or 2 innings and then they come out of these playoff games. We've had to redo the way, or just totally redo the way we do pitching props in the baseball playoffs, or just not even do them. Because these guys, they pitch like an inning and then they're out of the game.
I had Skubal over 19.5 outs, and granted it would have been close, but he should have come in at 100 pitches.
Well, I thought it was crazy, not to go off too much, but I thought it was crazy that Detroit pulled Skubal and I understand why everybody was talking about that. I thought it was almost as crazy that Seattle pulled Kirby out of that game.
Me
He was
too. He was
mowing them down. I mean, he looked awesome in that game.
He looked great.
I can't believe either team went to the bullpen.
These managers are stupid.
I think they get bored. I think
they
they're
just
bored.
like the umps and the refs.
Yeah, like I got to do something. I'll just pull my ace pitcher out of the game. Just to
Right,
show
like the
everybody
refs, like, oh, I haven't thrown a flag in a while. Let me throw this PI.
well, the refs throw plenty of flags in your league here. Really,
Your league.
Ugly.
The chat wants to know your thoughts on the Chargers game today.
Chargers and the Dolphins early game. I mean, we've taken a lot of money on Miami and the points, and we did take some very sharp money on the under in that game, under 44.5 in that game. So it looks like we're actually going to need the Chargers for now, which is kind of surprising. We've taken some bigger tickets on the Dolphins +4. So Chargers are in a tough spot. You know, they've got both of those offensive tackles out of the lineup, and it's making obviously a huge difference. Maybe it's too much for them to overcome. They lost Slater in the preseason. Now Alt is also hurt. That might be too much for their offense to overcome.
Interesting there. I'm shocked that on Miami there. There was one other thing I saw in the chat. Oh no, someone asked. Yeah, there we go. The over-unders. What are the public bets as far as totals?
Good question. Let's see here. They're betting there's a lot of money on the over in the Bengals game, which is kind of interesting when you have Joe Flacco and going up against a great Green Bay
Which
defense.
is funny. Yanni just gave out that under 45.
Good. Hope he's right. And then there's a lot of money on the over in the Arizona game. Arizona at Indianapolis.
He just gave out that under as well.
Great. What in the world was Arizona doing last Sunday? I mean, I've had to sit through so many NFL games in my storied career here, Ariel. I've had to suffer through all these games. I don't think I've ever seen a team do more to lose an NFL game than Arizona did last week. I don't recall ever seeing anything like that.
I'll be honest, I don't remember.
Good.
Which is so bad. I don't remember. What was I doing last week? I don't even know. I think I was at my parents' house watching on like 80 TVs when a guy tweeted at me that a girl could never understand what it's like to watch that many TVs, and I went up to him with like 2 extras. So
a girl can never understand what it's like to watch a lot of TVs. What does that mean?
Like in football, with football games on it. I know.
Well, I got like 12 TVs in my office. You're welcome to come watch football in here anytime you're in town.
It's probably a lot more fun to watch in your office than to watch with Kelly in the big room, but you know.
You don't want to watch with Kelly.
No.
Kelly is just going to be a nightmare to deal with, right? No, that sounds terrible. I would not want to do that.
No. Like after the Super Bowl. Flacco isn't beating the Packers twice in one season because he did it with the Browns. So now they don't believe in Flacco.
Well, they are a 14-point underdog. They are 8-1 on the money line here at the Superbook. So I think that is probably correct. But you never know. You never really know in the NFL. What if one of the Green Bay players decides, hey, I'm walking into the end zone untouched. I'm just going to drop the ball here at the 1-yard line. And then the
second time this year.
Oh, that happens. That you never really know. That's what makes my job so easy. You know.
Dumb plays. Dumb plays.
Yeah, well, that was pretty dumb. That's other.
What about your Commanders on Monday Night Football against the Bears?
Yeah, this will be a good thing for me to complain about. I don't like when they do the 2 Monday night games like at the same time, essentially playing the games at the same time. I much prefer the true doubleheaders like we get next Monday night. But I will say that we have good volume on both of these games. We've taken a lot of money on Atlanta +4. I think by the time the game kicks off, we'll need Atlanta because there will be money line parlays that'll go to Buffalo, probably end with Buffalo. But right now we need the Bills for a little bit. A lot of money on the Commandos. They're -4.5. Chicago is off a bye week. I think Chicago might be a little better than we realize, than we think they are.
Yeah.
And that should be a pretty interesting game. The 2 first picks from the draft 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. My guy, Caleb Williams from Gonzaga College High School in Washington, D.C. And Jaden Daniels is awesome. So that's a fun game.
That should be a fun game. It should be a good Monday Night Football slate, even if you have to watch two at the same time. John Murray, thank you for coming on as always here from the Westgate Superbook. We love you. We love your insights, and we hope that you guys win because we'll be on the same side as you.
Thanks for having me on. Thank you for rooting for the underdog, the scrappy underdog, the sportsbook.
Yes, and the Seattle Mariners. Go Mariners.
Yes, go Mariners.
See you, John.
Yep.
Coming up now, we've got one more guest. I'll give you props after. And first, I know he's sweating out his props today in this London game. That's how insane he is. Jesse Scholl joining the show. What's up, Jesse?
Yeah, I guess the early game isn't that early for me. It's a 7:30 p.m. kickoff for me here where I am.
Where are you again?
Chiang Mai, Thailand.
Oh, my goodness. That's crazy. Well, it's early here. It's 9:30 here on the East Coast. Well, now it's 11:30, but it started at 9:30. Denver up 10-9. We've got about 5 minutes left in the third quarter. What were you sweating out in this one?
I got RJ Harvey rushing yards. I got RJ Harvey rushing and receiving yards. And I got RJ Harvey at a big price to get an anytime touchdown for a very small wager. But I need some scoring from Denver real quick so that I was expecting to get this in mop-up time, right? And they won't be mopping up unless they're winning, and the margin's getting pretty slim right now.
Yeah, close game. Jets just also went up 11-10. I think they just had a safety. So that's crazy. But, of course, that would happen in London. Jesse, we've got games coming up in an hour and a half. What do you like so far for the 1 o'clock slate? Well, the East Coast, 1 o'clock.
I'm a little bit interested by that Carolina hosting the Dallas Cowboys. It's a Rico Dowdle revenge game, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy went off for 200 yards last week. Now he's facing a Cowboys defense that just doesn't show up these days. I can't believe
and they're
Carolina
bad against pass catching backs.
Yeah, and Carolina's 2-0 at home, 0-3 on the road. Carolina's a dog. Looks like the wrong team favored to me.
Ooh, wrong team favored. Okay, so you're going to take points with Carolina, which is a side that John Murray just said they need over at the Westgate.
I like that one.
Okay, so that's an interesting play. I also like the over on Rico Dowdle receiving yards because revenge spot and the Cowboys are very bad against pass catching backs. And chat, you guys can ask some questions too. It's so funny getting so many questions about Monday Night Football, and we've still got an entire Sunday slate. I know it's not that intriguing of a slate. There's not that many great games. One game that we haven't talked too much about yet is the Patriots and the Saints. Did you see anything there?
Yeah, the Saints, they won that game last week. They needed 5 turnovers to do it against the Giants. They can't count on getting 5 turnovers very often. So, I'm really high on this Patriots team. I actually had them over Buffalo last week. And I said that the Patriots coming into Buffalo had the number 1 ranked pass defense in the NFL. 126 yards per game they were allowing before Patriots showed up. And that was 100 yards fewer than the previous season. I said, did they really get that much better, or was it a product of the quarterbacks they had faced? Because they'd faced Lamar, Justin Fields, Spencer Rattler. So, they hadn't really faced a quarterback of the caliber of Drake May. And sure enough, Patriots got it done. They have a stellar rushing defense. Drake May leads the NFL in completion percentage. It might sound square, but give me the Pats.
Ooh, okay. So you like the Pats in that spot. Arizona has had so many injuries. Kyler Murray officially inactive, just reported in the last few minutes. That line went from 6.5 to 7 to now 9.5. Thoughts on that number, Arizona, Indy?
Well, I heard what Gianni had to say, and I agree. The Colts were the play at 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Anything higher than 7.5, and you miss the boat. But I'm not taking Arizona either. Speaking of Arizona, just one quick note: in a video I did a couple weeks back on Thursday Night Football when they played Seattle, I mentioned Kyler Murray carrying a couple designer purses, into the stadium. And man, did the chat ever go off about that? People really didn't like my criticism of dudes carrying designer purses, but. I'm 50 years old. In my day, we didn't carry purses. I understand that most athletes carry them now, but I just thought it was a little bit funny.
Oh boy. So are we betting based on that now?
No, I think the criticism for mentioning it came because I forgot to say that the clip went viral because he had the two purses. The clip I saw on the internet was about the purses, but in the clip I had noticed his gut was kind of sticking out of his jeans a little bit. And he looked like he put on weight. And I mean, Kyler Murray is useless if he's not athletic, right? He got to the NFL through being an athletic quarterback, so he can't really afford to gain weight. And I thought that he appeared to have gained some weight. I forgot to mention that. I started talking about the purses, lost track of what I was saying. And then, I faced some criticism for talking about purses.
Oh boy. Okay. Well, let's not get criticized. We've got 4:00 slates as well here on the East Coast. So I know the San Francisco 49ers catching 3.5 in Tampa could look a little intriguing. What do you think on that game?
Well, I nailed Thursday Night Football last week with Mac Jones, Kendrick Bourne, and Jake Tonji's props. And I think you got to look that way again. I mean, why would we doubt Mac Jones? He fell out of favor in New England. He didn't have success until he landed in a good spot, and now he's in a good spot, and he's getting it done. And I know he was a little bit questionable, but he's going to start today. And all those guys should be producing again, especially with Pearsall out. I didn't get the update if the other starting receiver is going to play, but Kendrick Bourne, for me, interestingly enough, Kendrick Bourne had career highs in 2021 with the Patriots. That was Mac Jones at quarterback in his rookie year. I think Bourne had 55 catches for 800 yards, something along those lines. So not surprising seeing him thrive here with reunited with his old quarterback. And I'm not sure the markets have quite caught up to that.
So you like over receiving yards?
I do have a few props up on my page right now. And certainly Kendrick Bourne is amongst them, whether it's receiving yards, receptions, maybe an anytime touchdown. I don't have an anytime touchdown, but I like the receiving yards. I like the receptions as well.
What other props are you looking at for today? You know, that's my favorite thing.
Let's see. Did we talk about them all? I mean, I got the RJ Harvey. I got the San Francisco player props. The Rico Dowd. I didn't say that I was taking props in that game, but like you said, Dallas can't stop pass catching backs. Dowd takes over as RB1 with the injury to Chuba Hubbard, the Canadian. But and I mean, Dallas's defense has been really underwhelming so far. So I do like Rico Dowd props. Maybe even in anytime, as rare as I do bet on anytime touchdowns because they're not usually very good value. Minus 110 for his anytime touchdown. In a game where I'm expecting to see a lot of points scored, and I don't see anybody else on Carolina that's going to get those touchdowns. So Rico Dowd anytime touchdown looks good to me.
Jesse, what are you promoting today?
Well, I've got a dozen plays on the board. I got 3 plays in the ALCS and 9 plays in NFL, most of them props. But tomorrow night, I got my Monday Night Football 5% play. You don't want to miss that. I'm 40-14 with NFL. That's 74% since the beginning of last year's playoffs.
That's awesome. You're awesome. Thanks for joining us here on this Last Call Sunday. Good luck today, and I hope you cash those bets at the end of this London game.
Thanks for having me, Ariel.
See you, Jesse. I did give out on the PropQueen.com newsletter a bunch of props for the 1 o'clock slate for today. Earlier this week, I also on the newsletter at the PropQueen.com gave out Justin Herbert over 15.5 rushing yards. That's now up to 19.5, even 20.5 in some spots. He's averaging just under 31 rushing yards a game this year, getting a defense in Miami that's allowed the 4th most rushing yards per game to quarterbacks at just under 33. There's no running backs anymore for LA as Najee Harris and Amarion Hampton are out. It's Hassan Haskins. So Justin Herbert might be able to run the football. Tight end for the Saints, Juwan Johnson over his longest reception at 16.5 yards. He's getting a defense in the Patriots that's allowed the 2nd most receiving yards per game to tight ends. And Juwan Johnson has gone over his longest reception prop, averaging 21 yards per longest catch in the 8 games since last year against teams that struggle against tight ends. And I mentioned Rico Dowdle. I like him over. There are a bunch of others that you can check out on thepropqueen.com. You could subscribe, $8.99 for basic subscribers, $17.99 for premium, which gets you multiple newsletters a day. I do like Travis Etienne. I did bet him over his receiving yards early this week at 13.5. I don't like receptions solely because obviously the intent has to be there to get Etienne the ball multiple times, as opposed to something like 13.5 receiving yards. I feel like he could have 2 catches and get over that number. So I'd rather, on a lot of those situations, bet for distance on someone like an Etienne who can be explosive yards after the catch. Sometimes tight ends, I'd rather take receptions because tight ends they're a little slower a lot of the time. So if you feel like there is someone that doesn't get a lot of yards after catch, then sure, go with receptions. But someone like Etienne, he might not need 3. He could get 2. And I like going for yardage more than I like receptions. Again, just to summarize what we saw from John Murray, if you like to be on the side of the sports books, we actually did have today what I thought was, I'm going to go bet these unders now because John Murray needs 2 of the unders that Yanni the Greek just gave out. So John Murray said the public is heavy on the over in Cincinnati, Green Bay, and the over Indianapolis and Arizona. Yanni, so just to clarify, when the public is all over those, John Murray needs those unders. And it just so happened that Yanni the Greek came on and gave out Green Bay Cincy under 45.5, and he gave out under 47 for Arizona, Indianapolis. He also, Yanni, gave out under 45.5, under 45 for Rams, Baltimore. The books need Baltimore. Sportsbook, the Westgate, Superbook at the Westgate. John Murray says they need the Ravens big. Carolina's their number 1 need of the day. Baltimore's their number 2 need of the day. New Orleans, number 3 need of the day. And in Major League Baseball, for Game 1 tonight of the ALCS, the Superbook needs the Seattle Mariners to win as an away dog up against the A's Kevin Gossman for the Toronto Blue Jays. So those are the needs of the day. That's what I'm going to go bet is the under in the Cincy Green Bay game, the under in the Indianapolis Arizona game. I am not betting the Ravens, but I will root very heavily for them. I hope you all have a very profitable Sunday. It's week 6 of the NFL. It's the ALCS tonight. Thank you for everyone tuning in here on WagerTalk Last Call. I'm the prop queen, Ariel Epstein. We will see you next week here on Last Call. Good luck.